Cool. Says alive. All right. Tuning in on a Friday, guys. We didn't put any sort of prep or warning that this was coming, but I wanted to get Nick in here. So Nick is an ex-client of mine. He's been through Reignite, and Nick's kindly agreed to come on today just to talk about his experience going through the program, but also to give you an insight into what happens afterwards and some of the things that he's focusing on in his life. Talking a bit about fitness, talking a bit about business and everything in between. So welcome, Nick. Thank you for popping on today. I wonder if we start by maybe just giving a bit of an introduction to yourself, anything that you think might be relevant to some of the guys watching today.
Cool. So yeah, I'm Nick. I'm in the later 30s. I have a desk-bound job. I'm a bit of a techie. I work in digital on websites and apps. So I'm desk-bound for most of the day. The end of last year, I realised I'd let lockdown eating and drinking get the better of me. So I got into contact with Alex to kind of help me out with a bit of a fitness and behavioural program to get me back on track, which is what I did over Christmas in January.
I think you must have finished Reignite maybe about a month ago, something like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
What was your experience going through the program? What was it like from your side of the fence, right?
It was really interesting, actually. So I do have a sporty background. I used to play rugby and stuff. I go to the gym a fair bit. But despite all that, I'd still managed to put on a bit of weight. So I think what I got out of Reignite is kind of the planning and the breaking down all the little bits that help you kind of understand, how much you're eating, what certain types of activity do and how they contribute to your fitness and your kind of physicality. But also I really got out the kind of mental kind of wellness side as well. How to build that into my day, and just plan the things that matter to me. So yeah, really glad I did it.
There's a lot of things that we talked about as that outcomes. So, you lost it's like over 20 pounds, right, over the 12 weeks, and
yeah,
you started like a side hustle. But from your perspective, what was it that stood out to you as the thing that you were most proud with as like a takeaway? What did you really take from the program?
So yeah, I'm proud of the weight loss. I'm proud. So that's continued a month after. I've reached under 14 stone for I don't know, probably my teenage years. No, it's continued after the program. I haven't just shot back up in weight.
Awesome.
So no, it's I'm happy with that. I've got my fitness back on track. I'm happy that I'm making time in my day for wellness as well, and getting the side hustle back on track as well.
Fantastic. But it's not, I guess it's not always, it's not, everything's not easy. There's some challenges that come with it, right? And whether you're working with a coach, a professional, whether you're just trying to make a change, a significant change on your own, what sort of challenges did you run into either before starting the program or, actually on the program itself?
I think that's a really key thing, because like I said, I was quite sporty, or I am quite sporty, but I've never really shifted the weight that I wanted to. it took accountability, and I think you know, us talking once a week or whatever it was, kind of setting the goals for the week, that really worked for me. So yeah, I think you can easily get into a situation where you think you can do it yourself. I certainly did for a long time, because I've been thinking about coaching for a good couple of years now. But yeah, no, I think the accountability was a really strong part of achieving what I achieved in the program.
So, as we said at the beginning, you're about a month out now, and the weight's still coming off, right? Under 14 stone for the first time in however long. What stayed with you from the program? What sort of tools and techniques are you perhaps still using, even though we're not working together anymore?
So I don't. So I'm not. I wouldn't say I'm actively tracking my calories anymore. I kind of got a good feel for what I'm eating and how much certain foods contribute to my kind of calorie intake for the day. So I have a good awareness of what I'm eating and what I'm drinking. So that is continuing. I am largely sticking to the kind of exercise program that we worked on. My daily walks I do as part of kind of low intensity activity. I'm doing pretty much every day still. So yeah, those good habits have all stuck, and I would say I've got the awareness of what I'm eating and how much activity and what that does to my weight and my goals. So yeah.
That's great to hear, dude. Like, a number of the things that we chatted about for weeks, they're staying with you, right? But again, there was conversations around being in your comfort zone and needing to stretch outside of it. Like, what was your take on that? Being a relatively successful, or very successful, kind of in your corporate career, having a sort of young family. How did you start to just stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone, and what were your thoughts on it?
So again, I think the accountability helped. I think I was talking about what I wanted to achieve each week, and then how can we stretch that the next week just a little bit, so that it's palatable, these changes. So yeah, I mean, the accountability, I think what we were doing, 10% increases in certain areas of my life, it's at 10% improvements. Yeah, just those incremental little things all add up, and yeah, really help to kind of show that the little changes that you're doing are contributing.
It's a really good point. And, we talked about the principle of Kaizen, which is, just 2 to 3 things that you want to change each week. And when people think about wholesale change, the thing that can sometimes scare them is it's so different to what they're doing now in either their health, their fitness routine, or maybe in their career, that they kind of bury their head in the sand a little bit and, just refuse to kind of acknowledge that it's there. But actually, when you stretch yourself outside of your comfort zone by just changing 1, 2, 3 things like a week, small things, that seemed to work for you.
Yeah, and I think that's key. And I've said I've read all the books on kind of performance, and I think when you read them yourself, you think, oh shit, I've got to make these big changes, and then when you try and do it and you don't get the results, it really puts you off. So breaking it down into these small things is really key, because it's not as daunting, and you start seeing the results, and that motivates you further. So yeah, that was really key.
Awesome, man. Well, look, one of the things we also touched on was this principle, and I think some guys in here will get this. Some guys, it might be like a new concept to them, but was this principle of self-actualization, which for anyone that doesn't know, it comes from Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow basically put together this pyramid of human and psychological needs, basically. And right at the top is this, at the top of the pyramid is something called self-actualization, which is effectively realizing your true potential. And it's, arguably you're not fulfilled, you don't feel happy until you kind of reach that point. So I'm interested, we had a number of conversations about this, but where do you kind of see that concept or that principle taking you over the next 1 to 2 years? How do you work towards that, with independently on your own now?
Yeah, good question. Because I think that's where the program kind of got me to. It was realizing that, despite being fairly successful in corporate life, is what I'm doing actually fulfilling me? And we got to the concept of self-actualization and breaking down what fulfillment is. And I don't think I'm going to be truly happy until I achieve this self-actualization. And the program has really helped me kind of understand what I think self-actualization means to me, in terms of fitness, work, family life, and we pulled out all those important things, and I feel like I've got a plan to get there and achieve that in all the areas that we discussed. So yeah, I think it's gonna take some more time. You can't get there in 12 weeks, but definitely what we've done is gonna help me get there.
Awesome, man. Well, look, I guess maybe closing thoughts. Some guys in here, I've talked to a number of guys in here, and I know from my own experience and speaking to hundreds of guys over the last couple of years, it can be difficult to balance work. In your case, you had work, you had your side hustle, you had family, you had health and fitness. What would you say to any people that are struggling with either their health and fitness, or perhaps in their career they're not where they want to be, or they want to start like a side hustle? Like, what bit of advice would you give to those guys?
We touched on it earlier that I always I was quite proud, and I thought that I could do everything myself. Sometimes it helps to get a bit of help. Definitely in my case, that really helped me. Having our weekly meeting. But it did take me too long to kind of take that first step into kind of talking to you about how you could help. And I would say if you're in that position where you're wanting to improve these aspects of your life, and thinking, well, I should be able to do this myself, I'm going to put it off, and that sounds like you for the last year, then I would just say take the first step, talk to Alex, see how he can help, because that process of breaking down and understanding your values and what makes you tick, getting those small kind of wins under your belt, it really helps, and it really helped me.
Awesome, man. I think some great thoughts, great reflections there. So thank you for taking up some time out of your afternoon to come in and help the guys in here with some valuable insights. Guys, if you do have any questions or sort of thoughts, drop them in the comments. Either Nick or I will jump in and answer them. But other than that, stay safe and have a fantastic weekend. We'll speak to you all soon.
Cheers.